Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck from here in Inmendham. Yes, lovely Inmendham. Yes, oh, isn't that lovely? Yes, yeah. Charming, under the house kind of cleaning. Yeah, I have to figure out how to keep the floor from collapsing and such. So, um, yeah, I'm really getting too old for this shit though. But there's really no room under here. Yeah, there's no room. It's really annoying and irritating. And having dead things lying about is creepy and unfortunate. Oh, I don't know what it was. I guess it was a possum or something. I don't know. I think the teeth are too big for a cat or something. I don't know. Quite horrible to be smushing around in here and run into that. But yeah, not really a fun place. So, yeah. I think I have a better brain than this kind of work. Oh, turn the camera that way. Oh. I really should be able to do some other things with my time, do thinking things, my important thinking brain. But, alas, the world has not figured out yet that I'm smart and Donald Trump is stupid. So, anyway. Well, I'll just make myself comfortable here somehow and then just do the review. So I did do a video, I thought a very good video, on the asymmetry and the futility of life and all that crap. But there's so much to do. So I think later, I get, upstairs, one level up, I will, they have some website for, asking questions at the debate, and it's just so depressing. So questions people ask are just so lame, the ones that are getting voted up. And, what about campaign finance reform? Or some other kind of shit, like, this whole idea that you're going to take money out of politics is idiotic. What you have to do is not elect people that have no character. What you have to do is vote for people who say, look, if you catch me cheating, you can kill me. Those are the kind of people you have to vote into office, and then you won't have this problem. See, it's like police officers. If you want to be a cop, then you have to accept that if you break the law, the penalty is 3 times the normal penalty. That kind of thing. That'll keep people straighter. But nobody wants to punish crime. Either they're silly liberals who think, oh, they just determinism, they can't figure out 2 plus 2, and or else it's crooks, just saying, I don't want to make being a criminal against the law because I'm a criminal. And that's the Republicans, basically. So it's just all very depressing. Because the thing people have to ask is how much richer do the top 1% have to get before you'll do something about it? That kind of question needs to be answered. Can they own like everything 7 times over, or 10 times over, or 20 times over, with their little fake tickets that say I own you? The tickets that can never be paid, the debt money that has really no value, and we're just being shammed and told they have more of them, trust me. Like Donald Trump's a billionaire, trust me. Yeah, and he earned it, trust me. Just such a crock of fucking shit. Shitocracy is where we are. So anyway, it seems to me these arguments can be made, especially the inheritance argument is so obvious. So I was thinking I would do that. Maybe I'll have to work on doing that on the logic page, where you just try to spell it out simply and concisely. Well, where I try to do that, which is really difficult because I do like to ramble on, as you may have noticed. So anyway, but even that whole idea that people can't pay, they just can't sacrifice, 1/10,000th of their life to devote to their knowledge of how the system works. That's too much of a sacrifice, 1/10,000th of their life. So it's all very sad. It's like the amount of time they spend thinking about their children's death. No, I can't devote 1/1,000,000th of my life to contemplating the heavy responsibility of injecting somebody into a game that nice guys don't necessarily finish first in. Not a brilliant idea. I mean, you think you'd want to fix that before you lay the eggs. I've, made that argument over and over to certain individuals, and they just it goes over their head. They don't really get that whole concept. What, you mean I should clean up a mess before I make a new one? Yeah, that's what you should do. That's right. You want a better world, then make it a better world. Don't make babies. Do that first. But anyway, that's sort of related to the anti-natalism asymmetry argument and all that kind of crap. But, oh God, this is terrible. I have to scoot way under there. It's very narrow. I'll probably get stuck. There'd be no way to help me. And, they'll just find me, 30 years later. Hey, look, there's a dead guy under here. Maybe a Sasquatch. But anyway, so I suppose that's enough from this location. Oh, look, there's daylight over there. Yeah, I can get out. But I won't be able to do it very fast, so hopefully there'll be no earthquakes in the next, half hour. But anyway, but this is just, I don't want to say something stupid like I deserve better than this, but I do. Yeah. I've earned it, damn it. I've earned better than this. There's no way for me to have to live. Anyway, so, yeah. I'm overqualified. Something like that. Yeah. I'm just too depressed. Oh, what? Labor? Fuck. But anyway, till the next time. And from someplace hopefully more spectacular than here. Look how narrow it gets under there. I have to somehow scoot under there and whack a few boards under there. Worst part is, I know this is going to ruin my back. I know I'm in big trouble tomorrow. Well, we'll see. But yeah, it's all this is, you use muscles you don't realize you really haven't used, and it's not too good. But anyway, so till later and such. Alright, I'm back from the first floor. Yeah. So anyway, so there is this website called some kind of crap. I don't know. Open Debate Coalition. Alright, so it does this online voting thing, and it's just, they don't even do this with any kind of useful functionality. In the sense that, all the questions that have made it to the top are questions that were asked 10 days ago. So it's just about the fact that whatever got popular for whatever reason early on just gets more and more popular because that's the way it works, because it gets more exposure. And it's just like all the rest of the popularity engines, Google search engine, all of it. It's just all this, no rational indexing, no function in terms of giving the user some obligation to provide the metadata, and to have the metadata as part of the mechanism that will decide what you get to see as a question to vote on. What kind of candidate you even know exists, that kind of thing. So anyway, just kind of useless. The the votes decline rather rapidly. Start off at 23,000. By the time you're at the 10th question, you're at 7. And by the time you get to the, I think the total is 30 that they're supposed to consider as questions for the debate. Yeah, you're down to 26, right? And ironically, or preposterously, that's actually the number of questions that have been asked. Yeah, so before you even get to the 30th question, the question has fewer votes than questions that have been submitted, which, just doesn't look very good. It just looks like chaos again, more mush. So anyway, this is supposed to get us away from the status quo, away from the bullshit. And then they added this thing, I don't know when they added this, but they have a note. Questions must not name or allude to a candidate and must be able to be poised to either candidate. I mean, just, kind of stupid. You could have said, well, if you're going to phrase a question regarding a particular candidate's liability, it should be phrased so the question can be asked to the other candidate as well as the candidate you directly want the answer from, or something like that. Because it's just stupid to take all the relevant questions off the table. You don't need to ask somebody who has a good answer what their answer is. You want to ask the asshole who has an idiotic answer, like Trump. So, eliminate 90% of the questions that are relevant by doing that. So, that doesn't make much sense. I mean, it's supposed to be our vote, so why don't you let us vote on any kind of trash question? Why don't you allow us to say, to vote on a question like, how exactly gaping is your lying cunt, Hillary? Or to ask Donald, how small is your fucking penis that you would give AIDS $2,400 and, 38 cents? $2,364.38. I mean, what kind of petty weasel are you? To be talking all this big talk about losers in the world when you had it handed to you and you lost it 6 times. I mean, if you were playing by the rules we're playing by, you would be on the street and broke 3 or 6 times. Yeah, 6 times without a job. Douchebag. Oh, fuck. Yeah, why can't we just say that? Do you fuckers really think I believe you give a goddamn about anything but whatever the fucking racket is you're trying to run through the presidency of the United States? Because you don't have an idea, right? You really aren't going to fix the trillions of dollars in unsustainable debt. You're not going to do anything about the fact that most of the wealth is held by 1% of the people. Are you, assholes? No. Anyway. So the questions are this stupid liberal tripe. And it just is. I mean, people are just so fucking retarded. It's just, why don't you make the Russians destroy all of their nuclear weapons? Or, some kind of silly thing. And it's just this whole campaign finance reform shit is just so fucking lame. And so this first question is term limits. Would you support term limits for members of Congress and the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court, we could modify that to make it an actual court that could mean something without it being a court full of political hacks. See, the way it is now, you only get on a federal court if you or your wife has done a hell of a lot of work for the party. Okay, the party that's going to nominate you to your position. And then support your placement on the court. And it's all party politics, and it's disgusting. They're idiots and they're morons, and I've proven that personally. I've went to the trouble of trying to file a couple of lawsuits and had them completely destroyed by idiots. Fucking goddamn idiots. And when I win my Nobel Prize, it will be important to me to emphasize that, these assholes shouldn't be on the fucking federal court because they don't know what the fucking law is. They don't know what the fucking Constitution is. They don't even know. They don't have any idea what principles are. Like simple things like Well, yeah, we should have a procedure in the court where somebody can prove they're innocent. And we can just forget about having a trial because they have proof that they're innocent. And we'll call it summary judgment, and it'll actually mean something. It won't be the judge is a bigot, he's going to fucking destroy the case. No. You know, real principles. That, like, when you file an appeal and you pay good money, $400 for one, that the assholes on the appeals court should actually have to write a decision. They can't just go, well, our decision is we don't have a decision because, you know, decisions are binding and we might look like assholes. Yeah, they have unpublished decisions now, which is another racket. We'll do to you what we're not going to do to any other citizen that comes into our court. So it's an unpublished decision, meaning it doesn't have any relevance to the actual law. Nobody else can use it as a precedent to establish that this is what the court thinks. Because right now we want to behave like monkeys, and yeah, later we might want to be responsible adults. So we're going to fuck you, and fuck you. Anyway, I digress. So the Supreme Court, like, there are lots of ways to modify it, but the way I would, the first simple little fix, just have every 4 years on the presidential election year, just have a policy where one of the 9 members on the Supreme Court will get voted off and one will get voted on. So you're going to vote to have one of them dismissed because he's an asshole, and you're going to vote to have a new guy put on every 4 years. There, I think that fixes it. It takes the politics out of it, and in a sense, it gives it back to the people where it belongs, and tells the 2 fucking parties to go shove it, essentially. With their bullshit, you know, assholes on the fucking court. Anyway, would you act to repeal Citizens United? So this is, take the insane amount of money out of the election process. So it doesn't have any description really here, so somebody would have to actually know what Citizens United was, and court decisions and all this kind of stuff. It's just vacuous, so you know the votes don't mean anything. They just mean, oh, that doesn't sound good. Citizens United, what is that, like Black Lives Matter or something? Yeah, we should repeal that. Let's repeal black people. Yeah, it's just fucking trash as a question. And anyway, yeah, and you know, let's repeal a Supreme Court decision. Oh, no, you have to actually just have a Congress that recognizes that something should be done, something like that. But anyway, I digress again. The idea about the money thing, you can't fix that. That's called freedom. I don't want to explain this all to you people, but see, if I have a bunch of money, I can choose to do all kinds of things with my money. Like I might want to, you know, spend some of my money to pay people not to have kids, or I might spend some of my money to, you know, to get stray animals off the streets. I might do all kinds of cause-related things. And one of the causes I can have is ideas and philosophy and all that kind of stuff. And so one way or another, those motivations are going to get into your politics. And to play this silly game that somehow I can outlaw it. No, you can't. Okay, you're going to outlaw Fox News? Because one could argue that it's just corporate news. They probably get a lot of support from corporations for no other reason, you know, in advertising dollars and different things, than the fact that they talk the shit the corporations like to hear. So they'll buy their ads from Fox, and they'll pay a higher price because they want to support the propaganda. And there's just so many ways for that to be done, that this stupid argument that you can take money out of politics, which is the same thing as saying, I want to take money out of philosophy. Well, you just can't. What you have to do is have a better argument, and what you might even have to do is actually be Citizens United to fight the rich. So you might actually have to agree about something once in a while, instead of filing as many questions as you vote, which basically points out that you're all full of your own shit and you can't ever support anybody else's idea ever. Unless it's Donald, because he's special. Puke. Alright, what measures would you propose to reduce our blunt gerrymandering? So this whole district crap. Well, we don't need the districts if we just get rid of this failed democracy and have an actual representative democracy where you actually vote. Your vote isn't destroyed by some asshole you didn't vote for. It goes to somebody you voted for, and he goes to Congress. Congress should be full of people that got affirmative votes. No asshole should be able to say, I won a district election and that means 40% of the people now have Adolf Hitler as their leader, as their representative. I'll go to Congress and talk as if I own that fucker and he said what I'm saying is great, when he said, I'd like to run you over with a fucking backhoe. Yeah. Why should some asshole, right, who I would like to be roadkill, be allowed to call himself my representative? That's just lying. So, I'm just saying, but see, we can have a better democracy, but it takes people who do a little more thinking than this kind of rubbish, superficial, thin crap. We have a corrupt two-party system. That's what they should be asking. How can we get rid of you two-party system compromising fucking cunt bastards who don't really give a shit about the best interest of anything called a country? You just give a shit about the best interest of the special interests that keep you in office. On the Democrat side, it's the fucking welfare whores, the lazy, the whiny, the foreign, let's see, what else? The preposterously unrealistic, and a few intellectual progressives who really just don't have a choice, so they say, okay, I'm a Democrat because I don't have a fucking choice because everything the Republicans believe in is shit. So the people who don't have a choice. And that's what the Democrats are. That's their coalition. And the Republicans are rich fuckers and religious loonies. And that's it. There's nobody else in the Republican Party. Rich fucker, religious loony, well, and whatever. NASCAR kookhead. Racist. Okay, so you got racists, religious kooks, and money whores. And so that's a little coalition. Yeah. And it's all compromise to these special interests. Special interest R and special interest L. And both of them suck. Oh yeah, the Democrats are also the fucking goddamn public employee union types. But they're not even getting all of that vote anymore. 50% of the fucking cunt government workers who get all these outrageous benefits don't even vote for the party that basically gives them all those benefits. Amazingly. Yeah. Preposterously. Oh, God, I hate this shit. Anyway, what will you do to ensure greater transparency and accountability in government? Why don't you fuckers, instead of asking stupid questions, why don't you do something? Instead of this shit, why don't you expect your candidate to say something like, look, if you catch me with my hands in the till, you catch me rigging $1 million jobs for my kids, you catch me in one dishonest motherfucking act, or you catch me violating the constitutional rights of one of you citizen types, you may put me in prison. Better yet, you may kill me, because I don't want to be any of those things. And there's no way none of that shit's going to happen when I'm doing the job for you. As your public servant, I have no ambition to steal money. I have no ambition to lie and cheat and steal. So, yeah, I don't mind a death penalty, because I'm not going to do it. Right? I mean, you can imagine having a law where you'd say, I wouldn't mind if they have a law against me jumping tall buildings with a single bound. Because I'm never going to do that. So let's pass a law that says anybody jumping tall buildings in a single bound gets the death penalty. Because, yeah, there's no chance I'm doing that. And if you don't have politicians that are willing to be subjected to a law for which they should have no chance of violating, then that's bad on you fuckers. Okay, the fact that you keep electing crooks isn't the system's fault. It's your fucking fault. Because he's gonna engineer some sort of crap that's to your advantage, right? So as long as he's feeding your special interest, rubbing your special interest nuts, you'll vote for him, even though you know he's a lying, conniving, motherfucking cunt, selfish bastard. So who's bad? His bad or your bad? Yeah, it's you, the voters. You suck. So why don't they ask that question? You understand that the voters absolutely suck, and you probably shouldn't even have these debates because these fucking cunt voters are too stupid to figure out any of this shit anyway, right? I mean, this debate is a waste of fucking money because the only thing that people are going to vote on is based on who sniffled more, or who zingered the other guy, who he zingered him. But they're not going to think any deeper than that. Fuck. Will you support a voter ID system that ensures that only U.S. citizens can vote? I mean, a voter ID system, what, like social security numbers? Yeah, they support that, but they don't want to support it in any kind of meaningful way where anybody has any accountability or responsibility because they're all a bunch of, I went bankrupt 6 times. They're all a bunch of people looking for a fucking racket. And they can't run rackets if they have to be accountable because everybody has a registration number that basically doesn't let them cheat all over the fucking cunt place. So obviously, again, this is another special interest thing, right? The liberals have a special interest in protecting the illegals, and the conservatives have the same special interest in the sense that they don't want employer sanctions, they don't want any kind of accountability, so we don't want social security numbers at work because then the illegals can't work. So they have to make it a system that's ripe for taking advantage of. So yeah, a simple system that would cost almost nothing. Less than $1 million to run a social security system that would be secure and provide just enough information to make sure you can't fuck around and cheat the system and double dip and do all of this other crap. Because your social security number would actually have a picture of you, okay, it would at least have a picture of your let's say your birth certificate, and it would identify your current address and your age and your height and all of that stuff. And so there'd be just no more of this fucking around. But no, we can't do something simple and cheap. We have to build fucking $2 trillion stupid fucktarded walls for the Mexicans to shit on. Because you people can't think. You're dumb fucking cunts. Should a candidate's paid speech transcripts be part of the public record? Well, I don't know. I mean, should their private bedroom talk be part of the public record? I don't know. It depends on how much they're getting paid and how many people are in the audience. I would imagine that to some extent it's like courtroom proceedings. I mean, even if you have a guy sitting there drawing pictures and he kind of heard the testimony, he can summarize what took place. So I don't really know if you need transcripts. But I mean, it's a candidate's paid speech. I mean, that doesn't even sound right. So I don't even know if this question is rational. I don't know how many candidates make paid speeches. How many candidates make paid speeches? Oh, do you mean every paid speech they made previously? Like even ones from 20 years ago or what? What does that exactly mean? You mean when they had a job like for IBM and they made a paid speech to an affiliate company and somehow that's our business? I'm just saying, why? This is not the problem with the world, okay? Paid speeches, that's not the problem. Well, I mean, the idea that, I mean, it's definitely a problem that clearly corporations are paying people for past duty by giving them speech-making opportunities. But again, we're talking about candidates, not after candidates. So I guess what you should say is resigning or retired public servants, should they be allowed to receive speaking fees? And I guess that would be a much easier thing just to say, no, we're not going to let you do that. That's like handshaking fees or signature fees. No, if you're a past public official, you're not allowed to sell your signature or your underwear or make speeches or shake hands for money or go to people's houses and have dinner for money. No, you can't do any of that shit for money. You actually have to have a job or fuck you, we kill you. I mean, really, it's just fucking stupid. Yeah, get a job. You know, do something. Whatever that president was, the silly little nice guy. Before Nixon. I mean, after Nixon. Before Reagan. Yes, the guy Reagan. Reagan. Carter. Yeah, do some kind of thing like that. Find some little charity work to do. Keep yourself busy. Okay, but yeah, don't be making no paid speeches. Alright, easy one to fix. Question is poorly worded. Piece of shit question. Shouldn't be in the top 10. Do you support using traceable paper ballots? Oh, fuck. What the fuck? It's 2016, and somebody's going to vote yes to a paper ballot. I mean, fuck. And voter ID to reduce fraud. So should we have paper voter ID too? Should we all carry our papers with us? I mean, just fuck that. Again, it's a number. You have a social security fucking number. Alright? That just really can't be fucked with. And then you vote, and your vote is tied to your fucking social security number. And you can just go look up your vote. Or you can have a PIN number for your social security where your vote is held. So you have a PIN number for your voting records. So you put your social security in, you put your PIN number in, and then you can see that your vote was counted. And then you can, somebody else can tell me what the number is, and they can see, and you know, I can check their vote, make sure their vote was counted the way it was supposed to be counted. That kind of thing. So we can have a secure system where we can look at the system and see that the system actually counted my fucking vote. We should have a highly electronic and accountable system, not some stupid silly paper system that doesn't mean anything. They give me a piece of paper that says I voted, but I have no way of knowing that I actually voted. But anyway. And again, any of this fucking ID shit, there's no ID problem. Okay, there's no like real obstacle to ID. Social Security number is not fucking complicated. We have a system, all they have to do is implement it. And they're deliberately not implementing it. They're deliberately not using it to its even 1-2% of its capacity. They're leaving it incredibly shystered and fucked. Because it's to their special interest advantage. Both parties are corrupted by special interests that like to cheat. Alright. Globalism. Why do you support it or oppose it, and why? Well, how can you oppose it? Oh, I'm opposed to people making products in other countries with cheap labor and making it really hard for us to compete. I'm opposed to that. I'm opposed to being outcompeted by people willing to own slaves. Yeah, but you can't just oppose it unless you want to go to war. So you have to have some other kind of plan to do something about it, to, you know, in the world that exists. Some other plan besides capitalism is fun, because all it is exploitation, and it's always going to go to the lowest, as low as it can go. It's going to find the desperation, and it's going to exploit the fuck out of it. So if you don't want desperation to be exploited, you actually have to do something to encourage globalism. You have to actually encourage some sort of thing like an international constitution. You have to think of yourself as a member of the world community of human beings. And if you're going to keep thinking about the fact that you're in a town, and in a county, and in a state, and in a nation, if that's all you can do, is be obsessed with your little nepotistic personal subjective attachments, then you're not going to fix the problem of globalism. Anyway, how would you stop special interest money from corrupting our democracy? Well, there you just, the same question as question number 1 and 2, but whatever. You can't stop special interest money. What you have to, you want to stop corruption? Stop electing corruptible candidates. Actually insist on your representative voting on a bill in Congress that would impose the death penalty, that would call graft treason and kill politicians for it. I mean, you have to up the fucking ante. If you don't want the crime, you have to make them not want to do the time. And we haven't got a system like that. So yes, you've got to point a gun at them and say, look, you're a public servant and we're going to point a gun at you. Because you people are proving yourselves to be full of shenanigans. So if you don't want the job because you don't like the stress of being obligated not to be a crook, well then don't take the job, asshole. Okay. What will you do to remove money from It's the same fucking question. I mean, really, how would you stop special interest money from corrupting our democracy? What will you do to remove money from politics? I mean, holy shit, just ask the same question 4 times. If elected, how will you rid Washington of special interest lobby groups? Same fucking question again. How can we, I mean, really, you can't stop. I mean, how exactly would you even do that? Okay, I'm a congressman, let's say. And I'm supposed to now not be influenced by any special interest. So the Red Cross can't come to me and beg for money. Nobody can come to my office and propose to me why they have an important subject. So let's say you're a little scientist in your backyard and you discover a meteor coming. And you can't come to my office and explain it to me. Because that looks like lobbying for money or something. It could be a special interest. It could be some kind of shenanigans. Again, elect men of character, and then you don't have to worry about this. And women, find one. Anyway, how can we change the law so that executives are prosecuted for financial crime? I don't know, executives? I don't know. I guess it means CEOs. Oh, okay. Well, again, there's no law problem. What there is a fundamental court problem. So again, it's the privileged class get every fucking opportunity to shenanigans the system, and the regular people don't. So lawyers probably should never be personal. So you should have to like draw your lawyer from a hat, okay, or something. So everybody just draws a straw for their, you know, and that's the lawyer they get. Something like, some kind of system like that might help. But the point is that if you have honest judges, then you'll have honest courts. And we have dishonest courts, and that's why the rich have privilege, is because the judges are all graft money whores. They're all sold out for bucks, and they have no interest in protecting your constitutional rights. They have every interest in making you a fucking slave. So, yeah. They all really need to be fired, and you got to start over, because every single one of them is a bag of shit. There's not an honest federal judge in this country, because if there was, he'd be outraged at how courts are being conducted. He'd be outraged. If there was an honest man on a federal court, he'd be filing lawsuits against his fucking fellow court presiders, because he'd see the shenanigans going on, and he'd be, you know, sick of vomiting. Anyway, how can we change the law so that... oh, we already did that. How will each of you address the Citizens United decisions and super PACs? Again, you can't stop people who have resources from spending their resources on something they're passionate about. And yes, many of them megalomaniac rich people that you keep embracing because somehow you think they're floating your boat or something, you stupid cunts. The useless inheritant rich who want you to be their slave, they have agenda, okay? And their passions are just as strong as your passions. They have resources, you don't. You lose. Alright? You can't fix that except to say, why don't we quit giving money to scumbags like Trump? Free money, free privilege, not earned privilege, okay, unearned privilege. Stop giving privilege to assholes, and then you won't have to worry about how they spend the money. All right. Would you consider repealing the Electoral College? It's definitely just an artifact, okay? It was a way, the only reason why the Electoral College exists is because when America was 13 colonies, it basically had to bribe all the other states to join. And for the little states, the ones that only had 78 people in them, they saw that, hell, why do I want to become part of America? Because I've got 28 votes and America has 4 million votes, and I'm going to be completely deluded, and they can decide just to dump all their garbage in my state because I won't have any power. So they invented the Senate, and then, as part of the bargain, you get 2 representatives no matter how sparse your population is. So, people of California have 30% less of a vote in the Senate than the people in Alaska. 30 times less of a vote. Not 30%. 30 times less of a citizen. It takes 30 Californians to equal the vote of 1 Alaskan in the U.S. Senate. So you end up with a canard, a pile of shit democracy like that, where it isn't one man, one vote. It's a rigged fucking system. So yeah, the silly little putrid, pukey little red states in the middle, the little Bible Belt losers, and the the places where everybody, as soon as they're old enough to put on sneakers and run the fuck away, they run the fuck away because their state is full of lunatics, like Iowa or something. Those weakly populated states end up with this fucking rig that's a 250-year-old compromise made just to sell the idea of the United States. So yeah, it should be thrown in the crapper where it belongs. It was just a bribe, and it was just essentially extortion by these small states to basically extort the rest of the country. And now that it's 50 states, it's like even the power's more evenly distributed, and so they really don't have any whiny worry that we're just going to all vote to dump our nuclear waste in their backyard. But we might do that anyway, because yeah, a lot of those little states are full of retards anyway. Fucking, they might as well be nuked because they already have brain damage from lead poisoning. Alright. Okay. How will you shrink the government and return freedom to the individual citizen? Boy, oh, gee, the questions weren't supposed to be pointed, and that's pretty pointed. Return freedom. What does that mean? Return freedom. Like what, 1714? What kind of freedom are you talking about? The freedom to what? Bullfights? Cockfights? Dogfights? What kind of freedom is it that you need? The freedom to be preposterously wealthy? The freedom, I mean, they've eliminated the inheritance tax. They've eliminated all these obstacles to you fucking racist scumbags, creating your little golf course oases. Just disgusting. You're gross. That's a gross question. Freedom to the individual citizen by, yes, let's put women who don't want to have kids, who get pregnant, let's force them to go to prison because they said I wouldn't be a good parent. Yes, that's the worst thing a woman can do, is to admit I'm in no condition to be raising no babies. And let's put her in jail for that. Because you're a freedom lover. Fucking cunts. Josh K. from Ohio. Oh, no surprise. The fucking lead paint state. Ugh. Would you support publicly funded elections? Well, that would be a preposterous waste of money. I mean, I support public websites, okay? So yes, give all the candidates all the website resources they can use, all right? And allow them to make videos, as many as they want. Give them a YouTube channel and allow them to talk to the people 24 hours a day, even live stream. Yes, if they have an idea, they could talk about it on the internet. Yeah, but the idea of publicly paying for fucking stupid commercials, yeah, that's like retarded. Let's publicly spend a whole bunch of money and funnel it into Fox News, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, these fucking cunt networks and their fucking drooly drivel of a brainwashing propaganda. Fuck that. Why should we pay propaganda channels? Ugh. Disgusting. Why should we trust you as president? Well, I've made many lying, mistakes, and I've been able to lie around all my lies. So isn't that, evidence that I'm be a really good president? Because I lied even better than that other criminal. You know what the answer should be? Because I'm willing to sign an affidavit that if you catch me in some kind of shenanigans, you can kill me. Yeah, that's why you should trust me, because I'm giving you reason to trust me. Because I don't want to be killed. Or worse, I'll say you can torture me. Okay, if you catch me stealing government money, torture me, yeah. Because that's not my plan. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to get personally embiggened by any of this bullshit. And I'm willing to take a lie detector test demonstrating that I don't want this fucking cunt pain in the ass job, okay, because it's going to make my life better. I want the fucking job because there's a bunch of incompetent jackasses driving the fucking bus of the human race, and I know I can do a better job than these retards you keep putting at the steering wheel. That's the kind of answer you want. Alright, would you support tagging all congressional pensions to the minimum wage? Tagging. Yeah, let's tag the congressman. Let's put ankle bracelets on all of them. Yeah, maybe that should be one of those accountability things. I'd vote for it. Yeah. Okay, let's watch whose house they're eating dinner at. Yeah, ankle bracelets for the congressman. If you don't want to have an ankle bracelet, then don't be a congressman. Simple. Okay. But yeah, this whole tying something to something, again, there's no obligation for you to keep electing congressmen who vote for salary increases. So again, the fact that the fact that even something like a pension exists in concept is kind of rubbish anyway. We should pay people a salary to do their job. Now, we have a Social Security system, so that'll keep them from eating dog food. But if you want to invest in your old age, well, that's your choice to invest in your old age. And if you don't want to, then you don't have to have a pension. But pensions should be private. They shouldn't be some sort of silly thing that's a way of hiding your salary. Because that's all this pension crap is. It only exists because the unions wanted a way of saying, hey, we're getting paid a lot of money and I don't want to pay any fucking taxes. So can't you turn the money I'm getting paid into a benefit of some kind? So then I won't have to pay taxes on it. Fuck. And so you're talking about tying something to the minimum wage, and the thing you're tying to it is exactly what's the difference between somebody who's earning the minimum wage. He doesn't have any discretion. He doesn't have any options to invest in a pension. All right. Every bill must be standalone. Well, that is just about the most... That should get the most votes for the most retarded, uninformed, insensible, stupid fucking goddamn thing ever stated, almost. I mean, how exactly? Well, I guess you could do it with like a checkoff form. So yes, maybe the votes should be electronic in the Congress in a more substantial way. And maybe they should have to press a button for each paragraph of the bill or something. But, you have to understand, the committees work on a ton of legislation. There's all kinds of bills. If they had to vote on each one by their whole procedural vote bullshit, where they all stand around and do this voting thing, they'll never do anything else but be on votes all day long. So you can't really do that. But yeah, maybe if you make the votes really electronic, where you just have just check off the boxes or something. Yeah, maybe. Alright, so maybe it's not as dumb a question. I mean, it depends on how you have to rephrase it with options to how you actually deal with that problem, besides making some sort of silly statement like they should have one of these silly procedural votes for every single bill proposed. That would be idiotic. What proposals do you support to rein in the influence of money in politics? Rein in the influence of... Again, it's the money question again. Rein in the right of people to freely speak with their money. You can't stop them from speaking with their money. You can't stop them. Right now, I could go and make an infomercial if I had money, and I could put it on TV. And then it could say, you're all stupid fucking cunts for keep talking about this idea because it's as dumb can be. What are you, fucking stupid? You think if you plug up this little tiny hole over here that they're not going to drill another hole somewhere else? You idiots. They're like mice. They're going to get in your fucking house, shithead. Ugh. Alright. Would you, and how would you, spelled wrong, reduce regulation of individuals and businesses? So 3,000 votes for a spelled wrong title. Brilliant. Reduce regulation of individuals and businesses. Just amazing. Mark S. from New Jersey. Oh, another lead paint state. I mean, the more toxic waste in fucking goddamn New Jersey than any place in the fucking universe. Oh, I live there, don't I? Well, anyway, Mark, you're a dumb fucking cunt. But most of the people in New Jersey are dumb fucking cunts, so that's not miraculous. I mean, regulation on... What regulation does this asshole want to get rid of? I would like to get rid of, overtly discriminatory taxes. Like, let's tax cigarettes and not donuts and not booze and, not all the million other things that are bad for people. I want to get rid of the unfairness. So why don't you just say, how would you or what would you do to reduce unfairness in the application of law in our country that involves individual freedom and business responsibility? But I mean, exactly what business regulation do you want to undo? I mean, the whole business regulations thing is just a fucking canard anyway, right? Because we already know that it's just the cost of doing business. The consumer pays for the regulation. Businessmen don't. The owners don't. All right? So if they make a regulation that says, well, you can't put poison, too close to people's front doors, or some kind of regulation, and, oh, that's just onerous because, my retarded spray guy can't figure out, what a front door is, so he just sprays everything. Whatever the thing is. How does it affect every business differently? There's no unfairness. Every business has to comply with the regulations. So what's your complaint, you motherfucking cunt? All these entrepreneurs, this is just more of their excuses. They go bankrupt. They can't be a functional business person, and then they blame a regulation. Well, the regulation did it because they don't want to admit they fucking failed. They want to cop out. So these are just losers copping out. Like, I can't admit I lost, so I'm going to blame something called regulation. But I'm just, it's like sports or something. These assholes, well, why regulate steroids? Yeah, because I was winning. Fucking idiots. How can we prevent the BLM? Oh, so everybody's supposed to know what that is. The BLM from inciting riots and harm to police. Oh, man. It's written by somebody illiterate. How can we prevent the BLM? Okay, Black Lives Matter. So anyone who thinks Black lives should matter, okay, somehow needs to be prevented from thinking. No, I don't think so. From inciting riots and harm to police. So they don't have a right to protest. So it's inciting a riot to protest. And if somebody does something fanatical, so Timothy McVeigh blew up a government building, killed 300 people, 58 of them children, because he was a conventional Christian type supporter of child molesters who have more armaments than whatever, Cambodia. Has missiles and grenade launchers in a bus in his fucking basement. Alright, because the FBI spent 8 months negotiating with a religious kook in Texas and finally accidentally killed them, which is obvious was an accident, and this lunatic blows up a government building and kills people. Now, should we blame Should we blame all the Christians and all the people who supported the Waco wacko guy, every religious guy? So every religious person in the country should be now banned from saying anything or having any free speech rights because one religious kind of kook did kooky shit. Yeah. Stupid Steve from Florida. Hopefully he got hit by the hurricane. Fucking dumb cunt. Term limits for Congress and the elimination of lifelong pensions medical. Pension medical. Term limits. So again, this term limits thing is just so fucking stupid. I mean, if you don't think the person is right for the job, then don't elect them. But I think you could do the British thing. You could have like a no confidence vote. So yeah, you could have established that okay, you have a vote to see if you have confidence. If you have confidence, he keeps his job. If you don't have confidence, he loses his job. So if he's below, below 60% support, then you say, okay, you're subject to election, something like that. But this whole idea of just idiotic term limits, like let's kick a good guy out of his job for no good reason. The people's choice shouldn't be the people's choice for no good reason. It's hard to make that make sense in a democracy. I'm just saying, why bother having a democracy if you don't trust it? For fuck's sake. Alright, how will you build a bipartisan consensus in Congress to pass legislation? Well, no one's ever been able to do that, so whatever this bipartisan blah 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 blah, it's going to be the only way you can do that is you're going to have to first fix the democracy. So your first job as president is just to spend all day talking about the fact that the Congress is full of lying scumbags, and you jackasses in the general public have to get the liars out of here so we can actually get something productive goddamn done. Something like that's going to have to happen. But otherwise, it's just compromise. You're just basically, this stupid question is asking, how will you destroy legislation and make it putrid and suck? By making it something you can find special interest to vote for. So it has to be so sucky, you can get a coalition of special interest to vote for it. Because everybody's got their hand in it and is pulling out a pile of special interest goo. So how can you make legislation so bad that it pays all the special interests? Yeah, fuck you. I don't think I would want to do that. Anyway, will you place any businesses or non-profits in your own blind trust? Will you place any businesses or not-profits in your own blind trust? I don't know. I think that's the way it has to work anyway. I think you're obligated to put all your business interests in a blind trust. I think that is your obligation. But whatever. You give it to Ivanka. Let Ivanka have it for 4 years. Well, 2 years till the impeachment. Alright, this is way over now. It's okay. I didn't think I would spend a whole video on this, but it was probably good enough. All these subjects, this is all so fucking simple. The rich are too fucking rich, easy to fix. Just cut back on this inheritance shit. The unearned ownership. Fuck. You don't like liars? Make laws saying you don't like liars. Obligate politicians to say, I'll be accountable. You may kill me if you can convict me, you can prove me to have been a criminal. Yeah, you can kill me. Because I'm not going to be a criminal. I'm not going to leap any tall buildings in a single bound. You can kill me for that too. So if you catch me leaping a tall building in a single bound, or being a fucking criminal, then you can kill me. Alright. That's it enough. That's pathetic. Anyway, so it's 1 day, 19 hours, and 53 minutes until the next big debate. Between the most preposterous thing that's ever. Nothing could ever. You can't make an AIDS-covered bagel more disgusting than Donald Trump as a thing running for president against a, alright, political hacky, la mishmush, policy vacant, why the fuck are you running bitch candidate. The good news is both of them are, I mean, both of them aren't going to last 4 years. Either one of them. But the bad news is then we'll just have another election and people will put the same pieces of shit on top of the tickets. So depressing. The special interest will do that. Running the two-party fuck you system. That's what's got to go. Anyway, so open the democracy. Instant runoff voting and get rid of the geographic district bullshit. And then we can have a real democracy and we won't need Democrats and Republicans. Yay!